The holidays are the perfect time to bring bold flavors and elegant dishes to the table. Today, we're counting down 5 festive recipes that will seriously upgrade your holiday menu. Let's jump right in. Number 5, duck confit drums.
You know, when the holidays come around, I get especially decadent, and this lunch is covered in decadence. It's delicious, and it stars duck. Duck confit with cranberries and walnuts, and to wash it all down, tequila and ginger ale. And look at these things. These are duck drums. So cool. They're on the bone, tons of flavor. So I'm gonna confit it. It's basically cooking submerged in fat. And in this case, it's duck. So I'm gonna spice it up a little bit. Lots of orange. Get the orange peel into some warm duck fat. There's one herb that I can't leave out of it, and it's thyme. It's just adding a ton of flavor. Awesome. So to that, I'm gonna add some pink peppercorns, and they have a sweet, peppery note to them. It's just delicious with duck. In it goes. And duck goes really well with pine flavors. And just to finish this flavor parade, a couple cloves of crushed up garlic. Now for the duck. Once the oil is really nice and flavorful and tasty, you can submerge these beautiful drumsticks in it. Get it submerged until the skin is really nice and crispy and the meat is just delicate, falling off the bone and full of flavor. Just let it bubble away. The smell in here is crazy. There's nothing like the smell of duck confit, and oh my goodness. When the skin gets really nice and dark, it's delicious. Look at that. It's so soft that the meat just falls off the bone. Okay, that's pretty intense. It's pretty rich and decadent, so I want to lighten things up with a salad. This is bok choy. Bok choy is really cool because the ends are really nice and leafy, and then the bottom is super crunchy, so it's perfect in a salad. Some walnuts, just get a nice handful in there. Crunchy walnuts in there. And duck loves fruit, and it also loves dried cranberries. All right, all this needs is a kicked up dressing, so cue the festive music. All right, so this kicked up salad is gonna be the base for the duck confit, and it's kind of fun. So a nice bed for the duck confit, and when I put the duck on, it's okay to let a little fat drip onto the bok choy. It's holidays, it's all about the decadence. And it's so good, it's so nice and crispy, and you can smell the perfume from the orange and the juniper berries. Delicious. Yeah, get some fat on there. And it's so good, look at it. It just falls off the bone. Look at how festive that looks. All it's missing is a cocktail, and I gotta taste it. It smells so good. This is the best part, because the duck just pulls right off of the bone. And then you gotta get a cranberry in there and a nut. Bite of the day right there, honestly.
Number 4, green Caesar, a fresh twist on a Canadian classic.
So when it comes to brunch and breakfast, there's one drink out there. It's the Caesar, but mine, it's got a little twist. This is a tomatillo. This is so cool. It's known as the Mexican husk tomato, and this is gonna be the base of the drink. So in a classic Caesar, it's made with tomato juice, but you know me, I like to turn things on its head, so I'm using the tomatillo for the base. All right, let's start this party off. First thing I like to do is get a lot of lime juice in there. It gets the blender ready for all that beautiful veg. So a Caesar isn't a Caesar without some clam juice. 2 herbs are gonna go into here and finish the job. Parsley and cilantro. It's working, it's working! Okay, you gotta give it a little taste. Ooh, that's pretty fresh, but it's missing one thing, celery salt. Woohoo! That's perfect. So I'm just gonna strain out the chunks, and then you're left with that gorgeous green liquid fully seasoned. Just strain it out. So a Caesar is classically rimmed with celery salt, but you know me, I like to do things funky, so I'm rimming it with Cajun. And then you're drinking a Caesar, and you get a little bit of that rim. It's delicious. So the first step in making a great Caesar is you have to back toss the first ice cube. Perfect, then you know you're gonna have a great Caesar. You want a lot of ice. And you can't have a Caesar without vodka. That's pretty good. And then for the tomatillo juice, I just put it in a nice thing, and look at how beautiful that juice is. And then fill it up. Oh, that's such a nice, cool color. And to kind of play on the savoriness, just a little bit of salt, a few twists of pepper, and you can't have it without some hot sauce. White pepper is really cool, so just a little shot of it. You can't leave out the Worcestershire. This is a classic ingredient in a Caesar. It's just delicious. So a nice little shot. That is great. And one garnish, classic with the Caesar. This is my mom's favorite part, an ice cold, crunchy stalk of celery. And look at that. It's a new twist on an old classic. And let me tell you, and it's delicious.
Number 3, chocolate truffles. Rich, smooth, and irresistibly decadent. These chocolate truffles are the perfect bite-sized treat to end any festive meal on a sweet note.
It's about to get real sweet in here. Chocolate truffles. They're the perfect holiday treat. They make great holiday gifts, and it's gonna go so good with this crazy martini. All right, so this is whole cream just seasoned with a couple of vanilla pods. When they start to steep in there, they lose some of the vanilla caviar. It looks really cool, but take it out, it's done its job. It smells so good. All right, here's a tip. When you're melting chocolate, you wanna get the cream really nice and warm, and a good quality chocolate. This is bittersweet chocolate. It's like 64%, so that means it's got a nice snap to it. I wanna make these truffles for the adults. So I'm gonna put a little brandy in, but that's totally optional. Okay, that's perfect. So the brandy, cream, vanilla pod, and then you can go right in with the chocolate. All right, this is good. Keep the heat on, keep whisking until all the chocolate is melted. Butter's gonna add a tiny bit of flavor. So once you put the butter in, take it off, and then the residual heat is gonna melt the butter, and you can see that it's getting really nice and shiny. Look at this stuff. You wanna get it in the fridge, and you wanna get it ice cold, and it gets this nice, pliable chocolate texture, which is perfect for a truffle. Get yourself an ice cream scoop. Your hands are really warm and the chocolate is very soft and decadent, so be really quick when you roll the truffles. Just get a nice ball like that and then into some dark cocoa powder. And then you roll it on that nutty cocoa powder. That is a cool truffle. And nuts and chocolate are super delicious. You can use any nut that you want, but pistachios are so good with the bittersweet chocolate and they look super festive. That's delicious. Crunchy pistachios and then the soft chocolate ganache with brandy. You could just cut through it and it looks delicious. You've got the nuts on the outside and super soft decadent chocolate with a little kiss of brandy. Happy holidays.
Number 2, winter beer sour plus salmon tartare bites.
So winter beer sour with salmon tartare bites and some crispy black sesame chips. So let's get at it. This starts with a little bit of bourbon. It's a corn whiskey, so a little bit of maple syrup for just a little touch of sweetness. So just a little kiss. And then to just cut out the sweetness a little bit, just a nice shot of lemon. Get the lid on there and give it a nice shake. These can be quite dangerous, depends on how you're feeling. And it looks so cool. It's like a perfect cloud of maple, citrus, and bourbon. I'm gonna use a white beer for this. You can use whatever beer you want, but there's notes of orange and lots of big citrus notes in a white beer. There's lots of bubbles in there, so go really slow. And you can get it nice and frothy on the top. And because the white beer has a little bit of orange in it, I'm gonna play with it. So get a peeler, get a nice piece of orange, just like that. Kind of wrap it around your finger, stick it in there. So take a knife and take a bit of the cheek off and get yourself a lighter, and this is really cool. Check this out. You could just burn some of that citrus on the top and it adds a really nice toasty orange flavor. You know what? It's so light and refreshing and it's gonna be perfect with my salmon tartare bites. Let's do this. So if you didn't know what tartare is, tartare means raw. And this is salmon, and this is gonna make a great tartare, but I have a good tip for you here. This is sushi grade, and sushi grade means it's the finest quality of fish, so it's safe to eat raw. And because I'm eating it raw, I like to cut it up into small little dices. So the first cut, just kind of fillet it a little bit, and you want the pieces to be about that thin. And then small dices, because you're eating it raw, you want a really nice bite through texture. So just cut it into the thin strips, and then the thin strips into little cubes, and that is the perfect dice for a tartare. It's nice and small, it's got some good fat in it, and it's super delicious. That and a little bit of veg, and you're in holiday decadence. Let's do this! There is a lot of big flavor in there, but I'm not finished yet. It needs some seasoning, salt and pepper, but I'm gonna turn things on its head a little bit and use some black lava salt. This stuff is so cool. Not only is it black, it's carbonized, it's from the Himalayas, it's got a nice, like earthy, deep saltiness to it, and it looks so cool with a little black flakes of salt in the salmon tartare. So just hit it with the salt, and then you need some pepper, but not your conventional pepper. I'm using some very nutty, floral white pepper. And on the salmon, because the salmon's really light in flavor, you get some black carbonated salt in there, then hit it with some white pepper. Woohoo! So there's a ton of stuff going on in here. The apples give it a little sweet tart crunch. Thinly sliced shallot is that classic light onion flavor. The chives are very bright, and the tarragon has that like haunting licoricey taste, and then a little bit of black salt and pepper. That's well on its way to being one decadent holiday treat. And I always make a dressing for it, but I make the dressing separate so the tartare doesn't get mushy. Let's do this. This is the perfect binder for the salmon tartare. The sour cream has a little bit of tartness to it. It makes it very fancy, super festive, and because it's raw fish, you want to keep it ice cold. So the salmon needs a vessel. It needs something crispy to sit on. And check this out. Right now, if you're looking at it and you're thinking, that's a boomerang frisbee, you're totally wrong. It is a rice paper chip, and it's got some black sesame on it, and all it is cooked down rice that's been pureed and then dehydrated. But when you fry it, it puffs up, and it's just a beautiful vessel for salmon tartare. Check this out. Look at how cool it is when it fries up. Because it's dehydrated, as soon as it hits the hot oil, bam, it puffs up and it gets really nice and crispy. So I like to break the pieces up. Oh, this is more fun than bubble wrap. So that's a perfect size for tartare. And you can see all of the bubbles in it. It's light, it's crispy, and it's perfect vessel for tartare. So just break it up into a couple pieces. And this is great because you can make this ahead of time and keep them in an airtight container. And then when your guests show up, you're entertaining with ease and class. Time for some tartare. So if you've ever had sushi before, try this tartare, you're gonna dig it. If you wanna look professional in the kitchen, I like to plate the crackers, and then if anything gets on the cutting board, it stays on the cutting board, and then when you transfer them to the nice plate, they just look perfect. All right, so just to finish it, I'm gonna put a few flakes of black salt on it. It's just gonna add a nice salty kick, and it looks really cool. You just want a little sprinkly of it, so one bite, you just get it, and you get a nice salty bite of salmon. And then because you did all the prep on the board, they just sit nice and upright. People are walking by, they're having a drink. I'll have one of those. Life is good. And it's got the perfect balance because the salmon is really nice and soft, and then the chip is just ridiculously crunchy.
Number 1, lamb chops with maple parsnip puree and pomegranate rosemary reduction.
It's the spirit of the holidays that makes me want to have a nice sit-down dinner with some good company, some great wine, and to tell you the truth, this one is super easy. Juicy lamb chops with maple parsnip puree and a pomegranate rosemary reduction, and it's also a good excuse to dust off the old blazer and bow tie. And some rosemary. Just take off the tender leaves and get them in there, and they're gonna add some perfume, big rosemary flavor, but if you put the stalk in, it does get a little bitter. So just the beautiful tender leaves. So the pomegranate juice has a good bite. It's got a little bit of a kick. So you wanna mellow it out, some white sugar. You could use any type of sugar, and it helps it get really nice and sweet. So it's had some time to bubble away, and as it cooks, it gets really nice and thick, and the taste is delicious. It's really earthy from the rosemary, but the rosemary has done its job, so strain it out. That's so good. It's nice and hot now, but you can cool it a little bit, and as it cools, it gets really nice and thick, and it'll be a perfect glaze for the lamb. Speaking of lamb, follow me. This might be one of my favorite cuts of lamb, the T-bone. Man, is it cool. All right, to season it, I stay real simple. So just a little shot of olive oil. You want some good salt. You want to heighten the natural flavors of all of that lamb, and especially it being on the bone. Whew. And a couple twists of pepper. And last but not least, I am doubling up on the rosemary. So there's some in the pomegranate reduction, but if you chop some up and put it on the lamb before you start grilling, that's holiday flavor. From a height, sprinkle it. You just want it to fall and dance on top of that lamb. You don't have to put a ton of oil in the grill pan because there's so much natural fat in the lamb, and then that little kiss of oil, that's perfect. You just want to hear the sound of a sizzle. And when I lay it down, just a little bit of pressure. I want those nice golden char marks on there. It just makes you smile. There's also a lot of fat down that side, so I like to just kind of stack them up together and let that fat render out a little bit. Okay, so once that little fat cap is rendered down, then you can put it on the side with no marks, keep it cooking. So when the lamb comes off, just put a nice sheet of foil on it, and a little bit of patience. Just let it chill out, let it rest, let it relax. It gives me the perfect amount of time for the maple parsnip puree. Let's do it. Oh, that looks so cool. These are just parsnips that have been cooking in a little bit of chicken stock, and they're perfect in a puree. I cook them in chicken stock because I'm all about maximum flavor. It's the holidays, let's keep it decadent. But don't dump a ton of liquid in there. You're gonna make parsnip soup. All right, I'm all about the flavor, so cream, maple syrup, butter, let's hit it! Look at this, it is like a cloud. They pure up really nice, and it's gonna go so good with lamb. All right, so my friends and family are around. I like to get a little fancy, so let's plate it up with some holiday spirit. So lots of the puree. You don't wanna be shy on the puree. And I like to get fancy, get a spatula. I like to call this a streak. It's almost like a dance move, like, just give it a nice streak. And then that's a great base, and you can stack up on the lamb. And then if you put that in the middle of the table, people can drag it through the puree. Delicious. Woohoo! Look at that lamb. Let it rest. It stays really nice and juicy, and the char marks on the fat, that's perfect lamb. Awesome, just stack them up like little soldiers. Last but not least, the pomegranate glaze. Just a nice little glaze over each chop. So good, it just adds a little sweetness, a little unctuousness, and if you put that down on your table, people are gonna feel pretty lucky that they got invited to dinner. So you might be thinking, what cocktail is he gonna make? With this, it's gotta be wine. For lamb, I'm a Pinot Noir guy. So you've got your New World and you've got your Old World. So for New World, California, Oregon, BC, but for your Old World, France. It's the holidays. Don't let somebody tell you what you should or should not be drinking. Drink what you like. That's my philosophy. All right, let's do a taste test. Let's start with the New World. It's delicious, it's bright. All right, Old World is my favorite from France. They do a really good job with Pinot Noir. That's the one, it's big, it's bold, kind of smoky a little bit, and it's gonna go great with lamb. Look at that, that's perfect. That's how I like my lamb cooked. It's just blushing through the center. Let it rest, you get some nice lamb. This is so good. Creamy parsnip puree and just a little glaze. It's like a fountain, just put the lamb in. Now that is a perfect pairing. And then you just get hits of pomegranate and rosemary. You have a sip of Pinot Noir. It doesn't fight each other. They all just have balance. That is delicious.
Which one would you serve at your holiday table? And if you're hungry for more festive inspiration, the next video is packed with even more holiday-ready recipes, so don't miss it.